remember the exact moment my world started to unravel, though at the time I didn't realize it. We were sitting in our small, sunlit kitchen, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee drifting lazily between us. I had just returned from a late shift at the hospital, exhausted but smiling at the thought of seeing her. She wasn't smiling back. Her hands, delicate and precise, fidgeted with the edge of her mug as if it were a lifeline. I think we need to talk, she said, her voice unervingly calm. That calmness, so unlike her, set off an immediate alarm in me. My chest tightened, but I forced myself to stay composed. Okay, I said, keeping my tone steady, though a storm of questions brewed inside. What's on your mind? She hesitated, and the seconds stretched like hours. Finally she looked at me, her eyes glistening but cold. I need someone more ambitious, she confessed. I stared at her, my mind teetering on the edge of disbelief and anger. Ambitious. After 10 years of marriage, 2 children, countless nights of shared worry and laughter, she had reduced everything we had to a single word. Ambitious. I swallowed hard. My first instinct was to yell, to shake her, to demand an explanation. But instead I breathed slowly, steadying myself. I see, I said quietly, my voice calm, almost eerily so. She looked surprised. You're not angry. I am, I admitted. But right now I'm more sad than anything. Sad that we've lost the connection we had, that I didn't see this coming, and that maybe I wasn't enough for you. Her eyes softened for a fleeting moment, but there was still a distance in her gaze that made my heart ache. It's not that you weren't enough, she whispered. It's just, I want more. More excitement, more drive, someone who can match my ambitions. I nodded slowly, the words burning my chest but leaving my lips with surprising control. I understand, I said. I always thought love meant supporting each other, through ambition, through setbacks, through everything. I guess we see things differently. She looked taken aback by my composure. I could see her beginning to question herself, the confidence that had always made her so unshakable starting to falter. That night I didn't sleep. I wandered through our home, running my fingers along the walls that had witnessed our laughter, our tears, our dreams. I thought about the first time we met, how she had smiled at me in that crowded cafe, how I had known immediately that I wanted to spend my life with her. I thought about the nights we stayed up talking about our futures, about the plans we made, about the promises we whispered under dim bedroom lights. And I realized, none of that had been enough for her anymore. Days passed, and the tension between us grew unbearable. She continued with her routines as if nothing had happened, while I quietly started noticing changes I hadn't seen before. The late-night texts, the sudden interest in weekend work events, the way she avoided my gaze when I tried to discuss us. My heart sank deeper with each passing day, but I refused to act rashly. Then, one evening I found my answer. I had gone to the local cafe to clear my head when I saw her. Across the street, sitting at a table by the window, was a man I had never seen before. They were laughing, leaning in close, completely oblivious to the world around them. My chest tightened, and for a moment I wanted to turn away, to pretend I hadn't seen anything. But I couldn't. I watched until I saw her hand brush against his, a gesture so intimate that it left me trembling. I didn't confront her immediately. I didn't call, didn't text, didn't yell. I went home, sat in the living room surrounded by our photos, and let the reality sink in. She had already made her choice. She had traded years of shared history, love, and stability for this. The next morning I woke early, made my coffee, and waited for her in the kitchen. When she walked in, bright-eyed and cheerful as if the past week hadn't happened, I looked her straight in the eyes. I know, I said simply. She froze. Know what? She asked, her voice slightly forced. I know about him, I said, keeping my tone calm, measured. I've seen everything. Her face went pale, the mask of confidence slipping for the first time. You can't, she stammered, but I raised my hand gently. Please, I said. Let's not make this worse. I don't want to yell, I don't want anger. I want honesty. For both of us. She crumpled into the chair, tears spilling freely. I don't know why I did it, she admitted, voice trembling. I thought I wanted something different. Thought I needed someone else to feel alive again. But I didn't think. You didn't think about us, I finished for her. About everything we built, about the children, about the life we've shared. She nodded, tears streaming. I know. I'm so sorry. I didn't respond immediately. I let the weight of her words and my own heartbreak settle. Then I spoke, quietly but with conviction. I've loved you with everything I have. And I always will. But love isn't just about feelings, it's about choices. And right now, your choice has made one thing very clear. You don't value what we have the way I do. The silence that followed was deafening. I want to fix this, she whispered. You can't fix something by pretending it's still there, I said gently. You can't undo the betrayal, the broken trust. You can try, but the truth is, our paths are different now. Her head fell into her hands, sobs racking her body. I reached out, not to comfort, not to console, but to place my hand on hers as a gesture of closure. I want you to be happy, I said. Truly. But happiness doesn't come at the expense of the people who love you. You need to face the consequences of your choices. For the first time in our marriage, there was no tension, no debate, no pleading. There was only truth. And truth, as painful as it was, gave me a strange sense of liberation. Weeks later, she moved out. She went to him, to the ambitious life she had craved. I stayed. I stayed for myself, for my children, for the life I had spent a decade building. It wasn't easy. There were nights I cried myself to sleep, days I questioned everything about myself. But slowly, the pain transformed into clarity. I started noticing things I had neglected. My own dreams, my own desires, my own ambitions. I worked harder not for anyone else but for me. I traveled, learned new skills, reconnected with old friends, and rediscovered the man I had been before the marriage consumed me. One evening, months later, she called. I've made a mistake, she said, voice breaking. I thought I wanted that life. But it's not what I imagined. I miss everything we had. I listened quietly as the words tumbled out. And when she finished, I replied, calm and unwavering. I understand, I said. And I'm glad you've realized that. But some things once broken can't be repaired. What we had was beautiful, but it's over now. I wish you well, truly. There was silence on the line, then a soft, choking whisper. I'm sorry. I know, I said. And that's all I need to know. I hung up, set the phone down, and let out a deep breath. For the first time in months, I felt at peace. Not because I had won or she had lost, but because I had reclaimed myself, my dignity, my heart. And in that moment, I realized something profound. Love isn't measured by someone's presence in your life, but by the integrity you maintain, even when betrayal cuts you to the bone. She had traded me for ambition, for excitement, for something she thought she wanted. I had kept my calm, my composure, my self-respect. And that, more than anything else, was mine forever.